guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. Well, today I've got 9 last-minute Valentine's Day cards. Now, the reason I'm calling them last minute, we've got only 2.5 weeks left till Valentine's Day as I'm recording this. And if you don't have some of the products I'm using, you still have time to be able to purchase them and get them in time to make them for Valentine's Day. So what I'm going to be featuring through just about all the cards today is the Always in My Heart bundle. Love this bundle. And you save 10% when you purchase it as a bundle versus purchasing them separately. And this is in the January to June mini catalog from Stampin' Up. And I'm also going to be showing you some cards with the sweet Little Valentines Cards More kit that's in the mini. You get 5 each of these envelopes. I love the gold lining inside. Then you get 5 of each of these card bases. When you fold them in half, they're 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So you get these two really neat. I love the gold foil in those. So you get 5 each of these. And then you get these 3 by 4 cards to put on top of them. And you've got this side and this side. And then you've also got this side and this side. So it's a really cute set. You can whip out 10 Valentine's Day cards really quick with these. I'll be showing you what I came up with these in just a minute. Okay, let's get started with that female card. Now, if you'd like to stamp with me, you can pause the video, click on that blog link below, and then you can get the supply list and the dimensions that you need to cut and get everything cut out and come back and make it with me. Okay, first off, let's grab the piece of Rococo Rose. This is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. We're going to fold this in half to form the card base, like so. Grab my bone folder. Okay, put this over to the side. Okay, now let's go ahead and do some die cutting. Okay, now I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out. You need the base plate number 1, the die plate number 2 to die cut, and you also need a standard cutting plate number 3. Okay, now I want you to grab that pearlescent specialty paper. I love this paper. I don't think the video is going to do it justice. Oh, it's so pretty. It really does look pearlized. And you can find this in the Sand and Sea suite in the January to June mini catalog. I'm going to lay that down here. You want to grab that beautiful heart die. Love this die. We're going to put this down. I made it to where it just fits because we don't want to waste any of that paper. So just move it around until it looks like it's on there really good. Put another standard cutting plate on top, number 3. Crank it through. Whenever it's ornate like this, I go ahead and do it twice. You probably don't need to. I haven't had any trouble with this die, and I've used it a few times already. So we've got this. It's going to have a bunch of little pieces in it. Put that here to the side, and you do want to hold on to this heart. We're going to be using it. So get all these pieces out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to do the heart border. You want to grab a 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of basic white, and you're going to take this heart border. I want to let you know it does cut along the top of the hearts, and this straight edge here does not cut. So you can make it as wide as you want or as thin as you want. Now we don't need it very big, so I'm going to line the edge that does not cut with the bottom edge of this paper. It actually looks like the side to you right now, but it's better to have these type dies going vertically rather than horizontally. They cut a lot better that way. Now you could put washi tape down on this, but I'm going to see if I can do it without doing that. Moved on me a little bit, so I'm going to put my hand under there, finger under there I mean, just as long as it's straight. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now we're going to run this through. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, by the way, because we'll be able to fix that if it does move a little bit. So that made a nice little border for me, and look, all those little pieces already came out. Gotta love that. Okay, let me get all these little pieces. Now you do want to hold on to this because we're still going to use that for the card. Okay, now we're going to die cut one more thing. I'm going to grab a piece of basic whites, 5 1/4 by 1 1/4, and grab this banner die here and just lay that right across the center. Okay, put that standard cutting plate back on it. I really like this banner die, and you're going to see why here in just a minute. It is really neat. It does some scoring for you, and you just come out with this really, really neat banner. And it's stitched. Gotta love that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get this card put together. Okay, here are all the pieces we just die cut. Let me grab my Take Your Pick tool, and we'll just take out all of these little pieces here. They come out really easy. I could use my brush too if I wanted to, but since most of them came out, I'm not going to worry about getting the brush on here since I don't have it on here right now. Actually, I probably could have just taken these out with my fingers. There's another piece, and I think we are done. So that was in real time. I'm not going to speed that up. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love, oh, I wish you could see the pearl in this. It is so pretty. Okay, let me get all these little pieces out of here. And then we're going to take this little heart, and I have found out that we can stamp on this, but you have to be careful on the pearlized paper. So let me grab my Stampin' Pierce mat and some grid paper. I'm only using one ink pad for this card, Rococo Rose. So this is what you would call a monochromatic card. Don't make much of those anymore. I need to remember to do that because they do make pretty cards. And then I'm using this You Had Me at Hello heart. Get that inked up really well. It's a little hard to tell now that it's dyed on me a little bit. I've been using some reds with it, as you can see. Okay, now because this is clear, I can go back. Now I could have stamped this too. If you are nervous about stamping on top of it after it's die cut, you could stamp it and then die cut it. There we go. That's not perfect, but that's pretty good. What I can do, since it has two sides, I'm going to go ahead, because I am at an angle, so it's a little hard for me to see if I've got it straight. It was a lot easier when I did this at my desk yesterday. Oh, that's much better. There we go. Now, this needs to be heat set. So what I'm going to do is take my heat tool. I'm going to get the Stampin' Pierce mat out of the way. Because if you noticed, just because I stamped the other side, there's a little ink right there. Okay, so I'm going to grab my tweezers and hold on to this. I'm going to get this out of the way because I do not want to melt my Stampin' Pierce mat. Turn this on and let it heat up. And this helps heat set it. Now yesterday I tried it without heat setting it, and it still was not wanting to get dry completely. But then when I used the heat tool, that took care of it, and it was dried and it wasn't smearing at all. So let's keep doing this. Okay, I'm gonna touch it here and see if it's, oh, that looks clean to me. I'm even gonna put it on this paper. We'll smear it a little bit. No pink. Now if I do the other side where I didn't heat set it, oh, that actually heat set it too because I was on the other side. So that is how you can stamp on this. You do want to make sure you heat set it or it's going to smear like this because it never does dry unless you use the heat tool. Okay, at least it did for me after about an hour or so. Maybe if you let it sit overnight, possibly, but if you don't want to wait that long, the heat tool helps a lot. Okay, so let's grab this Whisper White piece, and I'm going to use the So Ombre DSP that comes in let's see, 4 different colors: Bermuda Bay, Granny Apple Green, this is Rococo Rose, that's the Bermuda Bay, and what was the other? Oh, Blackberry Bliss. And this is one of the images, and the reason it's ombre is because it's this, you can see it's lighter here and darker over here. I love the shading in these. And there's also one that's just the shading without any design, which is really cool too. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn this over because I want the Rococo side, Rose side to show. So turn this over, grab my seal, and I'm going to put some seal all across the bottom here. Get this rolled up a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to take this little guy, and I think I'm going to grab my silicone mat too because I don't want this sticking to my grid paper or my workspace. The silicone mat makes it so if there's some glue that gets on it, no big deal because it comes right off. It doesn't stick. So I am lining up. Let me get this a little closer to you. Now see, it's actually sticking because the seal is a little wider than what I just put on there, but that made it comes right off, no problem. So I lined up the bottom edge of that designer series paper with that stitching. So that's what you want to do. Now, this made this a little shorter. So like, see, I'll put this on this card and there's a lot bigger border down here. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and finish putting some seal on here. Okay, and I might put some here across the top part of the border, but I don't want to put it where the hearts are because then you're going to see adhesive come outside those hearts. Now I'm going to take this down, the bottom edge of this designer series paper, I want to be just below this little serrated edge that we cut. Just a little bit, not much. And then you can straighten it with the, make sure the sides are nice and straight. Okay, so now we've added the width back to this. You can put it on here and see how well it looks. Actually, I think I want to bring it down a little bit more. That's a nice thing about the seal. We can take this back off again. And I kind of like it when it happens in the video because then I can show you how it works. See, nice and easy. So I'm going to break it down even a little farther. What we can do too, I do know it wanted to be a 5 1/4 inch piece, so I could measure this. Oops. And make sure that it comes down to the 5 1/4. Okay. That is much better. And I don't care if it's still a little wide down here. It actually isn't this time. My original, it was a little wider down here, and I thought it still looked great, so don't fret. It doesn't have to be perfect. But that's how I did that. Now I also used the Blushing Bride metallic ribbon. There are two different sides to this. Let me get a little closer. You can see how it's metallic on one side, and it's just got a nice, almost like a pearlized sheen on the back. Well, I actually liked it better with this. You can do it whichever way you want, whichever look you like, but I liked it better this way. So what I'm going to do is grab my Pierce mat, and I have found out you can use your seal to put on the end of this. It's actually easier, I think, to use your glue dots now. So I'm just going to put it on the side that I don't want showing. Make sure that the top is facing up. Get those on, just one on each end, and they go on a lot better that way. And we're just going to put that right across the top of the DSP like that. So I'm just overlapping the DSP just a little bit. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, now we can put this on the card base. Put some right across here. Oop, get this going again. Just whenever that happens, just start rolling it again, and then it works just fine. Because sometimes you don't get it cut, the adhesive cut when you lift up, and that's why you have to roll it sometimes to get it going again. Okay, I'm even going to put a little bit of adhesive on that ribbon because I don't want it popping off my card there. Then we'll put this down, make sure I've got it centered. Okay, now I'll get that mat out of the way for right now. Making a mess over here. You can't see the whole mess, but it's looking pretty messy over here. I'm a messy creator sometimes. Okay, now we're going to grab this beauty. Oh, I love this so much. And oh, I do want this again. I'm going to just put some where these leaves are. Okay, put some adhesive there. Make sure it's rolled up again. There we go. And you could use glue dots instead of your seal too. You could definitely do that. So I'm just putting it wherever there are leaves and putting it more at the base of the leaves because I don't want a lot showing. And if I turn this around, I might see some little strings here. I can just take my finger and bring it down and cut it back down again, and you can't see it anymore. That looks pretty good. I think that was the only one I had like that. So it looks like I've got all the adhesive on there. And we're going to put this right about here. It's going to be kind of at the top, but centered left and right. Okay. Easy peasy. And now I'm going to bring in my heart that we heat set with the heat tool. And yes, I made a mistake in case you missed the beginning of the video. But that's okay. That's why there are two sides. I always, if I make a mistake, I do both sides and then I pick the side that looks the best. So make sure you put it on the one that looks the worst, the dimensionals. And I'm going to put this right here in the middle, like so. There, and I really like that popped up. I think it looks really neat that way. Now we've got a couple more things to do on the front. I love that heart border too. I'm going to grab my banner, and we're going to stamp on it. And I think it's easier with this banner, you do whatever you like best. I think it's easier to die cut it and then stamp on this one. And you want to make sure there are score lines. Make sure the score lines that are showing the best are on top, okay? Because that's the way you want that to be. On this side, you can barely see them, so make sure the ones, when you see them the best, have those be on top. Then I'm going to grab the Be My Valentine, and once again, my Rococo Rose ink pad. Okay. I love the fact that I was able to make this with just one ink pad. And it looks so pretty. I really like it. Okay, keep that in there. I've got it so it goes at the angle of the banner. Now, there are two score lines. The inner one, you want to fold back like so. And then the outer one, you fold the other direction. So you've got that neat end, just like that. So I'll do that on this end. You can burnish it with your bone folder if you like. But there we go. So we've got that really neat banner. I think that is so cool. Now I'm going to show you two different ways to attach this. I'm sure there are more than this, but this is the way I decided to do it on this one. I'm going to hold these down. I'm going to put a dimensional on each end and then one in the center. And then on the card that actually the card at the end that I'm going to do at the end of the video is a masculine card. So that one I'm going to show you how to do it a different way. So I'll take all these off. Oops, get hold of my banner here. Bring the card back in. Make sure you don't put it on upside down like I almost did. And I made it so it goes on the ribbon just a little bit, just at the bottom of that heart. And then you just push it down until those dimensionals attach. And you can leave it that way, but I wanted to do one more thing. We've got these beautiful heart charms. This is in the same suite as this bundle. It's the Love You More bundle, a suite, I think. I think that's what it's called. But here are these hearts. I really love them. You could put them on with ribbon, but I'm going to show you how to do it with glue dots. So we're going to turn it over. There is one side that's kind of beveled, I guess you'd say, and one side that's flat. So you can go to the other side you want. I'm going to have the flat side be the bottom. So I've got that facing up. I am going to take this glue dot and kind of roll it and make it real thin. It's going to be more like a little twig, I guess you could say. Just a little rolled up piece right here. And I know that I'm going to have this on like this, so I only want it to be put on this side. So when I turn it over, that's the right side. So we're going to put one right here. Okay. Oops, I've got a little lotion on my hands. There we go. I was afraid I might have messed it up. And then I'm going to roll one more. And you could use take your pick tool if you want to, but I think it's a little easier just to do it with your fingers. And I'm going to put one right here at the bottom. Okay, so kind of squeeze it again while it's on there. Now, one thing you want to be careful of when you put it down on your card, don't push too hard. I pushed a little too hard the first time I did it, and it squished the mini glue dot. You just need to put enough pressure for it to stick really good. There we go. And I don't have any squishing out, maybe just a little bit right there. And if you do see that, then you can take your pick tool. Say that 10 times fast. But there's the heart. So there's the front of it. I think that heart just topped it off just right. Now, of course, I want to decorate that inside. We've got to make this a pretty special card for Valentine's Day. So I'm going to take another piece of basic white. This is a 4 by 5 1/4 again. And I'm going to grab one of the flowers and another greeting. This one says, "You are always in my heart," which is the name of the stamp set. Now I'm going to take the outline, ink it up, and stamp that flower right down here at the bottom corner. Okay. Now I want the inside to be a little lighter, so ink that up, stamp off, and that makes it even lighter so you can see through your stamp a lot better. And there you've got that colored in. Isn't that cool? And then use the same ink pad, stamp the greeting up here at the top. Okay. And that is all we're doing for the inside of the card. So I find it's easier to use the seal without the Stampin' Pierce mat. I think it works better when it's on a hard surface. So get the adhesive on here. Grab the card, open it up, and we'll put this right here on the inside. So see that card, it's nice and pretty. The heart die just makes it look so elegant, and you can get it done really quick. So I hope you enjoyed that card, and I'll be back here in just a second with 6 cards I've made in the past, and I'll explain to you how to make those, and then I'll make a masculine card here at the end of the video. Okay, now here's some cards that I've made in the past that I want to show you, and they're also last minute. This one uses the Always in My Heart bundle again. Love this. I use the Love You Always foil, I think is what it's called, with this. It is so pretty. I think this is the Blushing Bride color. But I love the way that shimmers with the light. And then once again, use that Blushing Bride metallic ribbon. Now this ribbon is on back order right now, but you can still order it, and it's going to be available here pretty soon. But go ahead and order that now, that way you get it in time. But I love this. I've used the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. Now I have not done a video for this card, but I did write a tutorial for it, and I will put a link to that blog post where that tutorial is at, so that way you can get it. But it's a real quick and easy card to make too. And then I showed you the, what is the name of it? The Sweet Little Valentine Cards and More. And I wanted to show you the cards I came up with. Now these are 2 cards made with the, let's see, the sides, these 2 sides of the cards with one of each card base. This is the striped card base, and this is the one with the gold dots on it. And then I used the Always in My Heart stamp set again. And these are what I used for the other sides. So the other side of, I think it's hard to remember, this one I think has the hearts. And I just put that banner across there, and I used the metallic pearls that we have in the annual catalog on it. Now, I want to make sure you know I used the gold shimmer ribbon from the annual catalog and those pearls. Those are the only things I added to the card. And I want to keep them uniform. So that's with that heart that we just used, and Melon Mambo. And this is with, Coastal Cabana, I do believe. Or Pool Party. That's right, it's Pool Party. Love the colors in this, it is so pretty. So we've got that set that you can do, and you can make, like I said, you can make a set of 10. So you can make 2 more each of these, and then pick another one, make 2 more of, whatever you want to do. But if you don't have this and you have the Punch Party, I wanted to show you how you can use another stamp set too. This is from the Punch Party stamp set that you get free with a $300 order. So you can get that with a workshop order or as a personal order, and that's before shipping and tax, and you would get this stamp set free. And I used the postage label stamp, I think is what it's called, or postage stamp punch, something like that. And these are the heart pack punch that goes along with it. And once again, you can see I pretty much did the same thing with this, and then put this in the middle instead. So hopefully you can see all those. It's a little hard to get them all on the screen. But I really liked how those turned out, and they came together so quick, and just adding those little pearls just really set things off. I really like those. And I used the pearls on all of them. As you can see, I did it at corners here. I thought that just made that look a little more finished. And then you are ... loved. That's why I did that. So I had a lot of fun making those. And I'll show you the Punch Party stamp set real quick. It's a really neat stamp set, and you'll really love it if you get this. So like I said, you can get this one free with a $300 order before shipping and tax. That can be a personal order or by hosting a workshop. And if you click, if you want to host a workshop during celebration, you have to get it done by the end of February. And there is a link below to host a party. You can just click on that and find out the different ways I do it. I do Facebook parties and catalog parties, or people just place orders with your host code. So that way you can earn that stamp set. Really neat stamp set. You can use that on a lot of things. Okay, so there are 7 cards that I've made in the past. And now we are going to make the masking card I told you about. And it's also using that Always in My Heart bundle. So we'll be right back to make that. Okay, now we're ready for the last card. This is my 9th last minute Valentine's card. You want a piece of basic black. It's 5.5 by 8.5. We'll go ahead and fold this in half, get those corners lined up as usual. Get that trusty bone folder, and that's ready to go. And we're going to do some die cutting, but first we need to stamp one thing ahead of time. This is a 2.5 by 2.5 inch piece of the basic white. You can use a scrap too, but that's the smallest that you can get. It's a 2.5 by 2.5. We are going to grab that heart stamp again. You had me at hello, and we're going to use Cherry Cobbler. Now you know why this has been tinted so red, but that's okay. You can still see through it. Even though they get tinted, you can still see through them. Okay, oops, it looks like I got a little bit of blemish there. That's one thing with the bold stamp sets. If you have a hair or something like that, it will mess it up. So I got that off. There might have been something on the ink pad. There, now I don't see any blemishes on it. That looks pretty good. So we will stamp this near the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Hold that down. I always hold down for a few seconds, and definitely use the Stampin' Pierce mat or some kind of foam underneath it, because that supports it a little better. Looks like I got little dots on there, but that's okay. That looks good to me. Okay, so we've got that ready to go, and now we'll do some die cutting and some embossing. Okay, let's go ahead and emboss right now. I'm going to grab platform number 1, the base plate, and I'm using a 3D folder. This is the brick and mortar folder, and I want to grab a piece of basic white. This is the 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece, and I want those bricks to go horizontally because my card is going to be a vertical card, so you want to put it in this way. Going to line it up with that nice line in the folder. You want to put it in fold first. That's always the way you want to do it to protect your folder. And then you need the specialty plate. Now, all of these plates that I've been using come with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You gotta love that. You don't have to buy anything extra. You'll have everything you need when you buy this machine. Okay, so we'll open this up and you get that really neat brick. I love this brick folder. I've used it a couple times here lately. Used to use it all the time. Okay, now we'll get some die cutting done. Have that platform number 1 again. The die plate number 2, I mean. Then a standard cutting plate number 3. And we are going to die cut this heart. And I'm going to grab this. Now this is how you can do it. Like I said, with a female card, I could have stamped it first and then put this in, but I had made the paper so small I wasn't sure if I was going to get it in the exact same spot because I want to get all of that really ornate stuff. But now that I don't care, all I want is that heart. It's definitely easier to stamp the heart first, get that centered. Grab another standard cutting plate, put it on top, run it through. And then you've got your perfect little heart here. Okay, ready to go. And then we have one more thing to cut. Let me get all these little pieces off. Okay, we're all set up for die cutting again. This time I'm going to use this little heart. It's like a little heart border actually. It die cuts the hearts, but I'm not actually going to use the hearts this time. This is what I decided to do for the inside of my card. So I'm going to line this up. I'm going to line the bottom edge of that die to the bottom edge of the paper. Okay, actually let's do it this way again. Once again, this is a vertical die, so we want to have it go in vertically. Or border die, we want to go in vertically. Run that through real quick. Okay. I made it so the heart was kind of close to it, but that's fine. And if you want to hold on to these hearts, you can definitely hold on to them and use those for something else. Once again, I'm going to put it right up against the edge of this, up against the heart, maybe even a little over it a little bit. Line it up with the edge of that paper again. Pop this in, nice and easy. Run it through, and I'll have a nice little heart border at the bottom of this. So that's how I decided to do the inside of the card, okay? We have one more thing to die cut, and that's going to be that banner again. Plop this over here, grab the banner. You want to grab a piece of cherry cobbler. This is 5 1/4 by 1 1/4 again. We'll do that banner. Oh, I did forget something else, and we could probably do them at the same time. Let's see here. I'll try to be brave here. This is a 4 1/2 by 1/2 piece of cherry cobbler. So I'm going to grab this guy here. Now this time, I want to line the top where it cuts, the little scalloped edge of the top of the hearts, up at the edge of that paper, okay? And this one just goes in there. Put the plate on. Let's see if I can put this plate on without anything moving. Oop, I knew that border would move. So I can get that all together. I didn't bring my washi tape over here, so I'm being really brave not doing it with my washi tape. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, now I'll run it through. So that's how you do it if you don't have washi tape with you. Just lift it up just a little bit and get your fingers under there. Okay, so now we've got our banner. And we've got our pretty heart border again. And if you want to keep those little hearts, you definitely could for another project. And all those little holes are open too. That is all the die cutting, and now we'll put this card together. Okay, here are all the pieces that we die cut. Let's go ahead and grab the Stampin' Pierce mat again. And I'm going to stamp that You Are Always in My Heart at the top to finish off the inside of the card. And so I don't cover that up, let's go ahead and put that in my card base. Like I said, sometimes I get messy when I'm working and I start throwing things and cover things up and I can never find them again. So before that happens with this piece, let's go ahead and put that on the inside of the card. With a black card, you definitely want to put a white or a lighter color layer in there because you definitely can't write on the black, excuse me. There we go, so we've got that ready. Let's grab some designer series paper. This is the True Love DSP, which is designer series paper. That's in the same suite as the bundle. And on one side it has pretty flowers. This one has some flowers too. But since this is a masculine card, I decided to use the side with just the designs on it. Okay, so this one is a 4.5 by 1, and this one is a 4 by 3/4. Okay, grab that piece that we embossed with the brick, the 4 by 5 1/4. Get some adhesive on this. So if you wanted to make this into a feminine card, you could definitely use the flower side if you wanted to. And what I'm going to do, oh, I almost forgot. Don't forget this. We've already got the adhesive on there, so this is going to work. I want to put this guy on the left side of this. And once again, I'm going to line that edge with the stitching. And if you're using seal, you'll be able to pick it back up and move it around because it's not permanent for the first 10 minutes. Looks like it moved on me again. There, that looks pretty good. So now we've got that ready to go. Now I can put it on the card. Okay. And we are going to put it right along here. Kind of center it up and down, but over towards the left of the piece. Okay. Then we're going to put this little guy on. Make sure I have adhesive going across the tops. And then I'll just put a couple strips here along the middle. And I'm going to center it up and down, but have it towards the right side. Like so. Make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. Got that ready to go. Now we're going to put the heart on there. So we'll go ahead and put some seal on with this. Oops. There we go. And I'm going to put it about right here. Okay. Now we're going to grab this banner and we're going to stamp the Be My Valentine. I'm using my Tuxedo Black Memento. So I'm only using 2 ink pads with this one. The only reason I changed to the black with this one, you can't see the cherry cobbler quite as well. You can definitely still stamp this with cherry cobbler, but I thought the black looked a little better. Okay, so that's all we're going to need the Tuxedo Black for. We will fold this like we did before. The inner ones get folded back and the outer ones get folded up like a little accordion. Okay, now I told you I was going to show you a different way to put this on. This time, oops, it looks like I use all your paper up. I had some writing on these and couldn't use them. Nobody's going to know the difference except you. So I'm just putting some seal on each end. Okay. This way too, you can have it be a little longer if you want it to be. I'm going to play around with it. I want it to be within my card here. Lay that down, fold this down. Okay. If it didn't work very well, like I said with seal, you can lift it up again. Bring it down a little bit because that's what I'm going to do. It didn't quite look the way I wanted it. There we go. Had it a little too far apart. So there, that's ready to go. And it is still bouncing up and down. You don't have to have those dimensionals under there. It actually, the dimensionals bring it down a little farther. This one kind of raises it up, but it's easy to fold down and get in a card, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's another way you can put those on. So let's go ahead and put that on the card base. Okay. And put it right here in the center. Like so. Oops, kind of flipped that a little bit. I was looking up at my camera and didn't see what I was doing because it looks like it's messing up. Okay, there we go. I think we're still on air, so that's good. So we've got that card and it's all done. Oh, I take that back. It's not all done. I decided to add some of these matte black dots. You get 2 different sizes, larger and smaller. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm going to use the putty tip. I have found out that this is a lot easier to lift these up. You just kind of push them off. They stick to the putty, and your glue dot is right on there with no problem. It's so much easier to do it that way. I used to always use this. Found out this works so much better. Look how easy that came up. And my glue dot is on every single time. And I'm going to take one of these big ones, and I'm going to put it right here on the banner. Now you can definitely add more on if you want to, but that's all I did with mine. But I thought that was a nice masculine card. You don't want frilly ones for your husband or boyfriend. So there we've got that. So really neat card. Okay, let's see all of the cards again. These are the 9 last minute Valentine's Day cards. And then these are the 3 that are full size. Make sure I've got them in the screen. Okay. And then we have, well, here, I'll just leave these here. And then we have all of the little Valentine cards from that kit. So I hope you enjoyed all of these cards. And if you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel and make sure you click on that little bell icon you see, and YouTube will notify you every time I upload a video. That way you won't miss any. Like I said, I really hope you enjoyed today's cards. I had a lot of fun making these, and they do come together really quick. Now, if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours, and I'd love to send these catalogs out to you. This is the mini catalog I was referring to, and this is that celebration where you can earn free stuff, and that ends February 28th. So I can get these mailed out to you. Just click on that contact me link below in the video description. And if you don't happen to have the annual catalog, I can mail one of these out to you too. This one is good till the end of April. Okay, here are all the cards all together, all 9 of them. I hope you liked all of them, and I hope you enjoyed the 2 cards that we just made. And if you would please support my channel by giving me a thumbs up or commenting below, I would really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.